is Weather or Not.
And welcome into this Thursday edition of Weather or Not, Teal Tuesday on a Thursday.
Yeah, and certainly a big game tonight. We'll have that forecast here in a couple seconds. But App State coming to town to take on our Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, nationally televised, and hopefully a big win. Let's start with the three things you need to know.
Needed rain overnight last night. Those showers, though, are going to be coming to an end. We had some big winners and some big losers, as expected, though, as far as those rainfall totals. And we continue to watch Rafael, a hurricane there in the Gulf of Mexico. Let's talk about the leftover showers that we have out there now coming to an end. Most of that really heavy rain stayed down to our south through the overnight hours, but it does look like we are going to see things beginning to improve as we work our way through the rest of the day today and into this evening, so that for that coastal game, things are definitely going to be looking a whole lot better. You can see there with future radar how those showers begin to pull out.
Yeah, the main axis of that rain starting to push its way off the area. Most of that was this morning, and then you'll notice by tonight, isolated rain chance coming into the forecast, which means for that Coastal Carolina game, I'm pretty optimistic. Yeah, we're going to keep an isolated shower around, but as those Mountaineers come to town, 60s, upper 60s, cloudy skies, and looking okay for tonight at Brooks Stadium.
Yeah, with those temperatures into the 60s, and again, if you do get a random raindrop or two, that's going to be it. Not expecting any sort of significant heavier rain. But boy, talk about those winners and losers. Let's talk about those rainfall totals that we did end up seeing across the area. Check out what happened down here in southern South Carolina. Look over there towards Statesboro. How about 11 inches of rain coming down overnight last night? Similar situation in between Columbia and Charleston, Orangeburg. Yeah, this wasn't a hurricane rolling through. This was just some rain that wouldn't move overnight last night. Almost 14 inches of rain, and big issues. Even had some flooding there on Interstate 26 earlier this morning.
Yeah, flash flood warnings were a big story. Also, you posted about this. We forgot how to rain in South Carolina. The rainfall totals, of course, to our west were something we were expecting. And then you think about here at home, King Street, 2 inches of rain, about an inch of rain in some spots, a little bit lower as you go toward the beaches. Let's talk about the weekend, though, because we have some good news coming our way.
We do. After a stray sprinkle around for tomorrow, we do start to clear out and stay pretty comfortable once again as we head into the weekend. We do turn a little bit cooler, and I think more noticeably this weekend, not quite as humid as it's been over the past couple of days. Coming into work this morning, my glasses actually fogged up like it was August. We're going to bring that down a little bit.
Yeah, and also wouldn't be shocked if we get a few more clouds later in the day on Sunday. We may have a weak little front that brings an isolated shower come Monday or Tuesday, but still fantastic for some of those outdoor plans. Let's also talk about the tropics, because Rafael has been a big story, especially with the landfall yesterday in Cuba.
Yeah, certainly has. Made landfall in Cuba yesterday evening as a Category 3 hurricane. It has since reemerged back into the Gulf of Mexico as a Category 2, and it just kind of holds on to that hurricane intensity as we head into Friday. But then notice Friday, Saturday, Sunday into Monday, it slowly starts the weekend, but it also really begins to slow down. And it's looking entirely possible now that it may just completely unravel into the Gulf of Mexico before actually impacting another land area.
Yeah, we may see that completely dissipate. Let's go ahead and talk about what's going to happen here at Cuba, though, because powerful winds knocked out the country's power grid, leaving 10 million residents in the dark. Here's the thing, thousands of people in the low-lying areas were evacuated Tuesday and Wednesday. This made landfall as a Category 3 hurricane. And once again, we were looking at that strength pushing through. You could see the wind. It wasn't just Cuba, though, Jamie. It was even the Florida Keys.
Oh, yeah, this is one of my favorite spots in the whole world. And anytime there's a storm nearby, those folks there at the southernmost point of the U.S. hanging out, watching the waves come over the seawall there in Key West. They did get some tropical storm force wind gusts, but as far as any direct impacts on the continental U.S. from Rafael, again, they were minimal, just some of those slight tropical storm conditions there in Key West. This is just another excuse for the Key West residents to crank open another beer. No big deal for them.
Typical day for them in the Florida Keys.
At all. Still not done, though. We still may see Sarah before the season is done. Watching with a low chance those areas there north of the Dominican Republic and Hispaniola, just to the east of the Bahamas. Yeah, we could see something try to bubble up and percolate in there as we work our way through these next couple of days.
Yeah, certainly going to be something we'll keep an eye on as we head into the weekend. Let's talk about what the forecast looks like for tomorrow. We'll take you coast to coast, and let's first off start with our favorite, yesterday's extremes. You might have got a sunburn in Burnside, Louisiana, 93 degrees.
Oh man, and Peter, what is that? Peter Sinks, Utah.
Thought it said Peter Stinks.
Yeah, Peter Sinks, Utah, 16 degrees below zero, and not surprisingly there, all the cold and all the active weather is there across the western part of the country.
Yeah, certainly. Let's go ahead and talk about southeast and across our area as we go into the forecast for Friday. You'll notice we'll deal with a lot more cloud cover as we head into the forecast. There is Raphael at the bottom of your screen, but notice we will see some sunshine. I think even for the middle and second half of the day. Can't rule out an isolated shower for us. Temperature is still going to be very warm, though. Upper 70s here in Myrtle Beach, 80s, close to 90 as you work into Florida, and 86 in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, let's take you up into the northeast. Nice and quiet there. A little bit of action up in far northern Maine, Caribou, Presque Isle over to Bangor, maybe a couple of showers as a weak little front moves through that area. They'll also see some of those cooler temperatures coming in heading into Friday, but still by early November standards, 40s, 50s, low 60s. Not too bad at all there for New England and the Northeast.
Yeah, let's continue as we go out to the Midwest. You'll notice once again a big story here continues to be some of the rain and even that snow that continues to be a big issue. Other than that, temperature-wise, you're actually looking at clear skies tomorrow across Illinois and Iowa. Notice starting to turn a little bit warmer across portions of the Ohio Valley, but certainly that cold still off to the south and southwest.
Yeah, and speaking of the southwest, that's where the real action is. Look at that snow there across parts of Colorado into New Mexico. There's going to be some mountain passes, I think, in southern Colorado that potentially pick up 70 inches of snow. Man, I want to be there. Let's show you some of the video coming out of the area there, especially in and around Colorado. Denver picking up on its first measurable snow of the winter season. The big snow staying just south and just to the west of Denver, but Denver still has leaves on the trees. So yeah, some issues there with the branches breaking under the weight of that heavy, wet snow.
So fun fact about Denver, and this is probably the first time I've ever done this. When we went on our honeymoon after the wedding, Emily and I woke up in a Denver, Colorado Airbnb, 12 inches of snow on the ground, and the city was acting like normal.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, Denver knows how to handle. It's one of the more extreme weather places in the U.S. You can go from 80 to snow in that city in a couple of hours, literally. So they're kind of used to this. And snow in November for Denver, not really unusual at all, but certainly is quite impressive to see some of these bigger totals. San Isabel, Colorado, already up to 28 inches of snow. Colorado Springs coming in here with a foot. Beautiful Boulder, 7.5 inches of snow, and they're going to be cashing in on a lot more of that by the time all is said and done. Again, that system is moving quite slowly there through the desert southwest. Let's take you to the west coast, and again, you can see that snow continuing over Colorado into New Mexico. The big issues here are coming in California. It is bone dry, that same system bringing the rain and snow to Colorado, Kansas, and New Mexico, also producing some really strong gusty winds, and that is leading to those fire dangers and those wildfires sparking up there across southern sections of California.
Yeah, we've been talking about how this has been a big story too. Wildfires are exploding just outside of Los Angeles. Officials say that several people are hurt as a result of one of them, and multiple people are hurt as, once again, like Jamie said, these wildfires continue to rapidly grow. And here's what is a big concern, starting to threaten more and more homes outside of the Los Angeles area. Of course, a big kudos to those crews that continue to work tirelessly through the night, as once again they can't seem to get rain over there in California.
Yeah, and the Santa Ana winds also not helping that at all. We are heading into, well, in the middle of kind of the peak wildfire season there on the West Coast, especially down in California. It's usually not till December into January when they start to break into a wetter weather pattern. So these fires likely continue there at least for a couple of more weeks. And again, always sad to see those fires working their way into those more populated areas of Southern California. Let's talk about a little bit of weather history, shall we?
I like this. How about the tornado outbreak November 7th, 1995?
I remember it.
I don't know if this one pops into my mind.
I remember it. There were quite a few tornadoes across the Carolinas. Let's talk specifically about what happened here in our area, because there were some very impressive tornadoes out of that outbreak. How about an EF4 touching down near
I do remember
Marion? We had an EF2 tornado near Conway that led to some injuries. We also had a couple of EF2 tornadoes just across the border. Lumberton, Dillon, Darlington County had another EF2 tornado near Florence. Fall was kind of the second severe weather season. Not always unheard of to get a strong cold front through here, especially in November, and it can lead to a favorable setup for severe storms and tornadoes.
Yeah, severe storms can go as far as December, even some in January as we go into that second severe weather season. Let's take you to our See It, Snap It, Send It for today, shall we? Let's go ahead and show you some of our favorites. How about this coming in from Mark Moore? I think, too, with Election Day this week. A fitting photo.
Yeah.
You'll notice that beautiful sunrise, the American flag there in the forefront, and just a couple clouds once again to make that sunrise look beautiful.
Yeah, he actually shot that photo on Election Day morning. Yep,
Okay.
sure did. Sure did. Yeah, and a very patriotic picture there. Let's take you on to our next one with See It, Snap It, Send It. Jim O'Neill, one of our favorites, with another beautiful sunrise. Had some of those high, thin clouds around, making for a very colorful view. Remember, we want to see your pictures as well.
Yeah, you can actually scan this QR code and do so by getting to our First Alert Weather app. Once you get to that app, a lot of people ask, how do you get to the photos? Scroll all the way down to the bottom. Right there, you'll be able to access from your camera and your photo library. Who knows? Maybe you'll see your photo on an episode here of Whether or Not. Maybe your photos at Brooks Stadium tonight. Good shots. And yeah, beautiful weekend on tap as well.
It is, and hopefully you got a little bit of rain to settle the dust for just a little bit. That's going to do it for today's episode of Whether or Not. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Getting ready for the weekend.
I can't wait to see you all. Y'all have a good one.